Have you ever played a game where you didn't quite know all the rules? Well, guess what? You're playing one right now. It's called the Great Money Game. It's happening all around us every single day, and in this explainer, we're going to figure out exactly how to play and, how to win.
So let's start with a really big choice. Just look at this picture. On one side, you've got worker ants, all marching in the same line, following the same path. On the other, you've got someone choosing their own adventure. This is maybe the most important choice in the whole money game. Are you just going to follow the path that's laid out for you, or are you going to learn the rules so you can pick your own? By the end of this, you'll know exactly how.
Okay, so to win any game, first you've got to know the rules, right? So let's open up the rule book. The number one most important rule is all about this one simple idea, value. And to really get it, let's play a quick little mini game. All right, picture this. You've got your absolute favorite candy bar in your hand, and I come up and I offer you 10 pounds for it. Would you take that deal? Yeah, I bet you would. 10 pounds for one candy bar? That sounds like an amazing trade. But what if the 10-pound note I offered you looked like this one? So what's the deal here? I mean, they're both just pieces of paper with 10 printed on them. But one of them can buy you a whole bunch of candy, and the other one is, well, it's just from a board game. The only thing that makes the real money real is that we all agree it's real. It's like a giant team belief, and that is the very first rule of the money game. That idea of a team belief is so important, and it takes us right into level 1 of our game, the trading game. Let's take a look at how we went from trading actual stuff, like your candy for my toy, to using these special pieces of paper we all call money. A super long time ago, people just bartered. So let's say you had a ton of bananas, but what you really wanted were some coconuts. You had to go find somebody who had coconuts who also happened to really want your bananas. They called this the double coincidence of wants, which is just a fancy way of saying it made trading really hard. Yeah, trying to find that one perfect person to trade with was way too difficult. So people came up with this really clever solution. What if everybody just agreed on one thing that they would all accept in a trade? It was a massive upgrade to the game. Let's call it the Great Macaroni Upgrade. Okay, just imagine a world where everybody agrees that macaroni is money. You could trade your fish for some macaroni, and then you could take that macaroni and go buy some carrots. All of a sudden, you can trade with anyone for anything. The macaroni becomes this go-between. The bartering problem solved. Uh-oh. Wait a second. If macaroni is suddenly everywhere, is it still special? Is it still valuable? Not really. All of a sudden, your macaroni isn't rare anymore, and its value totally drops. This is a super simple way to understand a big idea called inflation. So macaroni wasn't perfect money. I mean, think about it. It could get soggy, it could break, and if a guy can just show up with a boatload of it, it's not very rare. Good money needs to be strong, easy to carry around, and kind of hard to find. That's why, eventually, people started using things like shiny, strong metal coins. They were just a much better piece to play the game with. Okay, time to level up. Welcome to level 3. The game is getting a little more complicated now. You see, banks came along and invented a new kind of money magic trick, and it's a little strange. Our sources call it Dax's imaginary bike trick. So here's how the story goes. There's this banker named Dax. He borrows one single real bike. But then he goes and tells 10 different friends that they can all use that same bike. Now, as long as they don't all want it at the exact same time, everyone's happy, right? They all think they've got a bike ready for them. But what happens on a beautiful, sunny day? All 10 friends show up ready to ride, and they discover the truth. There's only one real bike. The other 9 bikes, they were just promises. This is what happens in something called a bank run, when everybody tries to get their money out of the bank at the same time, only to find out the bank doesn't actually have it all. Most of it is just promises. And that brings us to level 4, and the kind of money we use today. It's called fiat money. That's just a fancy way of saying it's not backed by something real like gold. It's only valuable because the government says it is. It's another promise. But this kind of money has a little problem. Let's call it the shrinking juice problem. Imagine you have a glass of the most delicious juice ever. Now, what happens if you keep adding more and more water to it? Well, the glass is still full, but the juice gets weaker, right? Less tasty? In the same way, when a government prints more and more money, each pound or dollar buys a little bit less. Its value gets watered down. So, it really all comes down to this. The money in our pockets works because we trust the people in charge not to water down the juice too much. The whole system is just one giant game of trust. And there's one more rule in this game we gotta talk about: taxes. The sources we looked at use this powerful image to explain it, a kind of shadowy figure who just comes and takes a piece of your money. Things like income tax or sales tax are a little like that. A part of what you earn or save gets taken away to pay for all the things the government does. Okay, whoa, let's recap the rules we've learned. Rule number 1, money works because we all believe it does. Rule number 2, its value can get watered down like juice. And rule number 3, some of it can be taken away. Now that you know the basic rules, you're ready for the final level, the choice. This final level is all about one simple choice, and it's summed up perfectly by something called the candy experiment. The question is easy. Would you rather have one piece of candy right this second? Or, if you wait a little while, you can get 2 pieces of candy later. What you choose says a lot about how you think about the future. And this shows us the 2 main ways to play the money game. If you choose the candy now, that's called high time preference. It means you value today more than tomorrow. But if you're willing to wait for that bigger prize, that's low time preference. You're playing the long game. You're planning for an even better future. So how does this whole candy thing connect back to money? Well, think about that shrinking juice. If you know your money is slowly losing its value, you'll probably want to spend it fast, right? That encourages a high time preference. But what if you had money that didn't shrink? Money that held its value, like gold? You'd be way more likely to save it, knowing it would be just as good tomorrow. And that encourages a low time preference. And that brings us all the way back to our very first choice. The worker ant path. That's kind of like living with a high time preference. You spend your money quickly because you know it's losing value. But the free path, that's all about choosing a low time preference, saving your value in a way that protects it for the future so you have more freedom and more choices later on. The money game never stops. But here's the difference. Now you know the rules. You get that money is all about belief. You know why its value can shrink. And most importantly, you know that you have a choice between now and later. Knowing the rules is the first step to playing the game well. And the only question left is, how are you going to choose to play?